Alright, what's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I will be ranking every Blox fruit from S tier to D tier, and I will be ranking them off one thing, and that is how good these fruits are for PvPing. And let's get straight to the video. And before we get to the video, another thing is that I am 30 mil on both Marine and Pyre, so this is kind of a professional opinion, and it's also kind of just my opinion, and thanks for watching. Let's get to it. Alright, so what looks like is the first fruit that we have is Rocket. Yeah, that's D tier. I've never really used Rocket. It's really not worth using personally. Second fruit is Chop. Chop is good to defend against a lot of sword users. You know, everybody really uses their sword, especially spiky trident when they try to pull you into them. So I'd put Chop at C tier, but like Chop alone as a fruit is not as good as a fruit as most of the fruits on this list. So that's why I put it at C, because it kind of does have one benefit of using it, is that people can't use their swords against you. And then we have Spin. Spin, D tier. Spring, I don't know, Spring, D tier. Bomb, D tier. Smoke, D tier. Spike, D tier. Magma. So magma for PvPing, it's not really good because a lot of the like attacks you need somebody to be on the ground because it's really hard to hit them if they're in the air. But overall, this fruit's really good for farming, leveling up, getting CBs. But off PvPing alone, I would have to put this at C tier. So dark fruit is a really good fruit that I actually don't see much people using anymore. And off PvPing and putting people in their combos, I don't know, this would have to go somewhere around C or B because I don't really see much people using it anymore, and I feel like it's kind of a really kind of hard fruit to use, so you have to be really good with it. But for PvPing purposes, I would put it at B tier. Flame is a really good fruit. A lot of people don't use it. I used it personally. I've done really well with it. I've killed a lot of people with it. So I would also have to put this at B. Love, especially with the new update, it's actually usable for PvP. Yeah, I've seen a lot of great combos where they stun you and just like kill you in like one shot. So I would put this also at B. Now we have Revive. Revive, I don't know where I would put this. I think I would put this more at like, also like B, because you do get an extra life if you do get low, and like if somebody's jumping you or teaming you, you do have extra life, so you won't die immediately. So I'd put this at B. But like overall for PvP, I think it does have like one stun move. This is where I'd put it. Sand, it would have to go A tier. Especially with a lot of the moves it has, with the damage it does, with the capturing ability it does. And I've seen a lot of great sand combos, especially one-shot sand combos, which are really good. I would definitely like to put this at A tier. Buddha alone is just a very well fruit. Like you can use it for farming, you can use it for leveling up, you can use it also for PvP with CDK, which a lot of people should do, and they got 30 mil like that. So I would definitely put this at A tier. The only disadvantage is if you actually go against somebody good, you are actually just a really big running hitbox, and you get a lot of damage done to you. So you would, and the whole server would probably team you if you're using Buddha. So that's why I put it at A tier instead of S tier. Next on the list we have is Quake. Quake is a really good fruit. I like using it. It does a lot of damage, especially the wave move. That's a really good move. PvPing alone, I would also have to put this at B. And next we have is Rubber. Rubber is a good fruit. I don't really see much people using it. I personally wouldn't use it. I don't really like Rubber. And off PvPing alone, I think I would also have to put Rubber at B. Sound with the, it came out in the new update. It's actually a really good fruit. I've seen a lot of good people using it and a lot of good combos. I haven't used it personally, so I would have to put this fruit at a C. Barrier is more of like a troll fruit. You don't use this for PvPing. I've never seen anybody use barrier for PvPing. I don't think it has like any good like attacks that you can use in a 1v1. I've do seen a lot of people like put up the walls in like the bases and cafe to like prevent people from getting out, but that's pretty much it. So just based off of that, I'm putting this at D tier. Phoenix is a really good fruit, especially with a lot of the attacks it has. I've seen a lot of good combos and the healing ability. That is what it puts it at A tier. Because a lot of people, they'll just heal in fights like automatically. Like you're just getting somebody low, they'll back up, they'll come back to you, and they're like full health. So I'll put this at A tier. Diamond's really good if you're like not really using the fruit, but you have like a combo with it. Because you can't really use diamond in a PvP fight. So because of that, I'm putting this at C tier. Because I'm going based off the fruits, not like how like it does in a PvP, but like what the fruit does in a PvP. Portal's a good fruit in a PvP. You can dodge a lot of attacks. You can capture people. You have a lot of mobility. If you just keep on staying moving, like that's what makes Portal a really good fruit. And I've seen a lot of good combos with it. So I'd put this at A tier. So Rumble is a very good fruit. There's a lot of Rumble users, a lot of gun mains, sword mains. Rumble is a good fruit, but I think because it's more of like you gotta fight like skill players. You can't really fight like spammers because with Rumble you can't really do much. You only have like one stun move and you have the ball move, but that's really not doing much because you're just standing there in the middle, just throwing a ball, and people are just gonna start doing damage to you. So because of that, I would have to put Rumble at B. I know I would get a lot of hate for this because there's a lot of Rumble users, but this is just my opinion. Rumble is a good fruit, but if you're like going against anybody that's like Kitsune or Leo, like they're just gonna fry you if you just stand there and you have to capture them. So just because of that, I'm putting that at B tier. The next fruit we have on this list is ice fruit, and I think personally an ice fruit is really good. The fruit alone is really good. The thing is, when you're using ice, everybody's gonna be air camping against you. But for me, when I use it, that doesn't happen because I know how to like prevent that using ice. But that's just me though. But just going off the fruit alone and all the abilities it has, I would have to put this at C tier. No, you know what? Actually, I'll put it at B tier because it's actually a really good fruit, especially if you catch them. But you just can't have somebody air camping against you. Next we have is Falcon. Who's really using Falcon? Have you seen anybody do a combo with Falcon? Is the Falcon fruit even good? Just because of that, I'm putting that at D tier. Spider. I know I've seen a lot of people using Spider, like swing around like Spider-Man. I haven't really seen people use Spider, but Spider alone as a fruit, it's pretty good. PvPing is pretty good. So because of that, I put it at B tier. Paw. So Paw, like you have to be really skilled to use Paw, and I respect every person that uses Paw. And Paw is just a really good fruit. Just because of that, like I've seen rarely any people use Paw, and you have to be very skilled. Just for that, I'm putting it at S tier. Gravity, come on, Gravity doesn't even have any trading value, let alone it being good at like as a fruit in a PvP battle. I've never seen anybody use Gravity at all. Just because of that, D tier. Light is a really good fruit for PvPing. It has a lot of good attacks. You also have the flying ability, and just alone in a fight, Light is just a good fruit. So because of that, I would have put that at B tier as well. T-Rex. T-Rex is a really good fruit for PvPing because it has a lot of like attacks you can use and like not stuff that like just stuns, but like actual attacks. So because of that, I put it at A tier. Blizzard. Blizzard is a really good fruit. Like alone, Blizzard is just a good fruit, especially if you have Cyborg V4 and you do that portal thing, like that dome thing with Blizzard. You're doing a lot of damage, and just because of that, A tier. Dough's a really good fruit. Even after I think it got a nerf, it's still a really good fruit. I don't see a lot of people use it anymore, but it's still a very good fruit. So now here's Venom, and I'll give you guys a very good detailed information on why I think this is S tier. So with Venom, it doesn't have a lot of weaknesses, and it only has a couple attacks which recharge really fast. And you can't air camp against this fruit. You can't run against this fruit. You can't pretty much do anything. Like they will get you. And then it has like the after poison that still does damage or like counters your like can. And I think just because of that, this is S tier. This is probably arguably one of the best fruits in the game, personally. Shadow's a really good fruit. Shadow has a lot of good like combos. Shadow alone is a good fruit. Like you have that healing ability, flying, that little like swarm thing. Because of that, I'm putting it at A tier. Now we have his Spirit. Spirit is a really good fruit. Like this fruit is broken, like it's busted. And it has a lot of attacks, especially the V move when that does so much damage. The stun move, that capture move, the fly move. This is S tier 100%. Now we have is control. Control is like, it's a good fruit for PvPing, but the fruit alone is good, but it's not as good because when you're fighting somebody with control and like they can just get out of your bubble and you have to keep on closing your bubble and reopening it. It's a good fruit, but I think I would have to put it at B tier. Mammoth has a lot of spam moves, but the fruit alone is good. Has a lot of dashing abilities, but I would also have to put it at B tier. Dragon is a really good fruit, especially have really good combos. The thing with Dragon is like you kind of like need them to be on the ground to hit your C move, but then if you transform, then you're good. Like you don't really need them to be on the ground anymore. You have that like Heat Wave move, you have that Grab Claw move. So I think because of that, it's a A tier fruit, and this fruit is just good overall. Now we have is Leo. Leo was busted when it came out. This fruit is so good. Till this day, it's still good. A lot of people just sleep on it now, but it has a lot of good attacks, a lot of damage. The transformation, everything's perfect. Because of that, I would also still kind of put this at A tier. Now we have Kitsune. Kitsune is busted. Like the speed, especially with Mink, the attacks are really good. Because of that, I would have to put this at S tier. And once again, this is just my opinion. Everybody has their own view because everybody uses their own fruits, and everybody's good with their own fruit. Like, there's some people that are good with fruits that you are not good with, that are people other think is trash, but they're just really good with it. So, once again, this is just my opinion. Thanks for watching.